President Joe Biden claims that only the Lord Almighty can persuade him to leave the presidential race. However, if he changes his mind, Vice President Kamala Harris is by far the best candidate to succeed him. Harris would have an advantage against several of the most prominent Democratic candidates, including California Governor Gavin Newsom and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She has already been on a successful presidential ticket with Biden, has years of goodwill built up with core party voters, and is expected to hold a large amount of campaign money acquired by Biden's reelection. Here's a closer look at her chances in a future open primary. She would be Biden's most natural endorsement. The president comfortably secured the Democratic nomination, and party rules prohibit him from simply transferring the delegates he earned at next month's Democratic National Convention. Several delegates, however, have already indicated that they will support Harris. Biden's choice of Harris might limit possible upheaval and prevent floor confrontations that would be damaging to whoever rises to face. Republican Donald Trump. Harris makes the most sense to carry on the Biden legacy, said Andrew Feldman, a Democratic strategist who works closely with numerous state parties, emphasizing that the subject was completely hypothetical because Biden has stated that he will not step down. Feldman noted that the Biden administration's agenda has been tremendously popular in terms of the issues that they've championed, and that the president and Harris have been doing that in partnership. Antoine Seawright, a Democratic strategist based in South Carolina, noted that voters put 78-year-old Biden in the White House knowing Harris was next in line, and that Biden fended off primary challengers this year at the age of 81 knowing Harris would remain his second in command. Democrats have voted for Joe Biden along with Kamala Harris, Seawright stated. Taking on Harris as Biden's alternative is hazardous. Harris is the first female vice president, as well as the first black woman and person of South Asian origin. African Americans are the Democratic Party's largest and most dedicated support base. It would be difficult to bypass a historic number 2 for anyone else, let alone a popular option from a vital swing state. Leading the attack against someone who broke gender and racial barriers could permanently label the challenger as disloyal in future Democratic primaries. Glenda Carr, who chairs the Higher Heights Political Action Committee, which promotes black female candidates around the country, said the widespread speculation that Harris could be replaced by another top Democrat in Biden's absence demonstrates just how much black women are oftentimes overlooked. You want black women to organize our houses, our blocks, our churches, and our sororities? Carr asked. Then we've got to stand by our leadership. Democratic Rep. Jasmine Crockett of Texas said it is impossible to overstate how important it is for black women to have Harris in national office. Democrats with national ambitions might not desire a swift campaign. Since Biden's dismal debate, Democrats have named a slew of elite candidates who could run in his place. In addition to Whitmer and Newsom, speculations have circulated about Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. All of them have stated that they will continue to support Biden. However, in dozens of interviews, Democratic operatives, pollsters, and elected officials note that there has been no heated political jockeying for support for someone other than Harris at the convention, as would be required if Biden stepped down. Secret and preliminary negotiations have taken place, and if Biden withdraws from the campaign, they will almost definitely need to be public, making continuation impossible. Everyone would rather be a starter than a pinch hitter, says Feldman. For example, Democratic fundraising bundler Barry Goodman, a Michigan attorney who served as finance co-chairman for both of Whitmer's statewide campaigns, stated that he was unaware of any organized attempt by the governor to raise support. Harris will have enough money to get going. Campaign funds may also help ease the transition from Biden to Harris. In ways that Democratic alternatives do not, the vice president, as his official running partner, has access to the president's campaign's $91 million cash on hand, which rises to $240 million when allied Democratic organizations are involved. For his part, Trump is already attempting to rally donors by suggesting that Democrats replace Biden with Harris. On Monday, the former president sent fundraising emails titled, "Biden's Dropping Out" and "President Kamala Harris." Her legal background may resonate more than it previously did. The vice president, aged 59, is 22 years younger than Biden. As a former prosecutor, she can unleash a stinging blow in a debate, as Biden famously did during the 2020 Democratic presidential race, when Harris ripped into him for his previous opposition to school busing as a way of desegregation. The vice president's legal background may also align more closely with the ideals of today's Democratic Party, which has largely shifted to a focus on criminal justice and law and order messaging in recent years. following nationwide protests against racial injustice in 2020 that fueled the defund the police movement. Biden's support rating has fallen substantially among Black Americans, a pattern Harris hopes to reverse before November. Still, Biden has always struggled with low support ratings among Americans in general, and the vice president fared a little better. Approximately 39% of U.S. adults have a very or somewhat favorable opinion of the vice president, which is consistent with Biden's 40% favorability. However, a June APNURC Center for Public Affairs research study revealed that Harris holds slightly fewer unfavorable views than Biden, with 49% versus 57%. Harris has a favorability rating among Black Americans, among Hispanics, and among whites. All of these are identical to Biden's. However, she may have more influence on public opinion. Approximately 12% of U.S. adults indicated they aren't familiar enough with Harris to have an opinion, whereas nearly everyone has an opinion on Biden.